you travel for business or pleasure, whether once a week or once a year. Here are some essentials to reduce your stress and increase how much you're really enjoying your overall travel experience. Just know, some of the essentials I'm going to show you cost well over $2,000. But what they've done for me personally is they've reduced my stress, increased my enjoyment more than anyone could possibly ever know. So today, I'm going to share with you the essentials for travel for me. And I've traveled a lot. Things that I take with me all the time, and more importantly, why I take them. So in this video, I will show you 1, why I chose each item, 2, where to find them, 3, how they worked as a system, and 4, how they enhanced my travel experience and also reduced my stress. Now, some of these items are ultra luxury and very expensive, yet others are very economical, practical, simple, and have a tremendous value. Now, individually, they're just a group of products, but together they make up a strategic travel system that I've developed over decades. Now, my name is Gary Tilkin, and the things I'm going to show you today have earned their right on this list through decades of hard travel. Now, for more than 40 years, 40 long years, I was a road warrior. I traveled internationally and domestically for business. I became a lifetime highest level status for both Delta Airlines and Marriott properties. With Delta, I'm a lifetime diamond status with over 5 million miles. With Marriott, I'm a lifetime titanium elite member with over 3,500 nights in a Marriott property. Travel for me wasn't an option. It was a matter of survival. Now today, after 8 years of retirement, I travel extensively, but now for personal reasons, for enjoyment, exploration, and serious hobby. I'm recognized as an ultra luxury cruise, travel, and travel product influencer. And I'm going to share everything I learned with you today, and hopefully make your next trip better than it ever could be. Now, I personally have no brand loyalty. I go by one motto. Whatever I have, what it's going to do for me is enhance my experience and reduce my stress. That's the criteria. Now, from a full disclosure standpoint, everything in this video I've purchased with my own money. I have received some promotional discounts from some of the vendors. I always disclose that before I show their product or service. And also, I purchase other items from third-party vendors like eBay to reduce my overall investment. When purchased or received, all of the products were brand new in the box with a seal. What I've done is, after I've gotten them, if I didn't like them after my review, I simply sold them on marketplaces like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Now, every item that you'll see has earned its place through its time, its quality, and how it made me feel when I took it on the road. It was the keepers, the top, the best in their category. Now, my opinions are my own, and my integrity is never for sale. I've done many luggage comparisons here on YouTube, and in the description, I'm going to give you my playlist for all of the travel-related products so that you can go through those if you'd like to, and some of them are long formats of what I'm going to show you today. The one thing I learned over 40 years was when you're choosing luggage, have this in mind. High quality luggage costs more up front, but because of the way it's built and how long it'll last, it provides you with the true value over time. Now add to that a lifetime warranty, then all of a sudden, after 5 or 10 or 15 years, it becomes the best value that you could possibly imagine. But you have to think, is it worth the investment up front? Am I going to use it for that time frame? What's your way to use luggage? I know what mine is, and I'm going to show that to you right here today. Now I break my luggage system into 3 core products. Number 1, a high-end backpack by Briggs and Riley, and it's a traveler's backpack. Number 2, a 40-liter carry-on by Sterling Pacific, one of the top brands and most expensive brands of aluminum luggage. And number 3, a 90-liter check bag by Sterling Pacific. That's even more expensive than the carry-on. Those 3 together equal my system for luggage. Now each piece has a specific role. Let's start with the backpack. I chose it because it was in between small and medium sized. Remember, I'm not going out for a 20-mile hike. I'm just going on travel, and I have a specific reason and purpose for it, which I'll share with you in just a moment. Now, I chose this particular backpack for 3 reasons. The first reason is build quality. The second reason is intellectual organization. And the third reason is durability and premium materials. And it sure didn't hurt that it had a lifetime warranty. Now, a backpack is your travel command central. I want you to remember, backpacks go with us. We need to have access to everything in that backpack without going to our carry-on or our checked luggage. So it's for ground transportation, trains, when you're waiting in airports or lobbies of hotels, when you're on the plane. You want to be able to reach down, get everything that you need, and never have to go to the overhead and pull that carry-on down. Now, funny story. I taught my wife this approach with using a backpack, a carry-on, and a check bag. I explained what was the important part of the backpack, and I'll explain later the important part of the carry-on and the check bag. And she agreed, and she put everything into it the way that I described. Yet, the moment we got to the airport, she needed something. She didn't know where it was. Was it in the backpack? Was it in the carry-on? Was it in the check piece? So all the bags got opened. It was frustrating, stressful, and embarrassing. We don't want that to happen to you. So if you have a strategic plan, it makes everything so much better. Now, although what you pack might be different than what I pack, I'm going to share it with you. And then you can make an evaluation if you want to add something to your list. The first thing I take is sanitary wipes because I wipe down the seat and the trays. Then I take healthy snacks. Not that I'm going to eat them. Usually I'm in first class or business class. They have great snacks, but just in case. Third, the actual trip-specific medication. In other words, if I'm going to be on the plane at night, when I normally take my nighttime medication, it's in my backpack. Or the other is in my carry-on. Reading glasses and sunglasses, a high-capacity power brick that not only works for your mobile devices, but it also works for your laptop. My laptop, my phone, and my tablet, travel paperwork, and this is important because that's what used to mess me up. I didn't remember where the paperwork was. It was all disorganized, but not with the way I do it. I have it in a little book. It has a table of contents. I always know where my materials are. A mini umbrella, my passport, my wallet, and some ultra high-end headphones that are noise canceling. They're very expensive, but when you're on a plane and you're going 12 hours, that noise will drive you nuts. And I found the way to do it so that not only do I have great headphones that cancel the noise, but I also have a device that's in an electronic bag, which I'll share with you in a moment. And that device allows me to use Bluetooth from my headphones to the actual infotainment system that's on the actual aircraft. Those things are the things that I want access to me immediately when I'm on that plane. This is a Briggs and Riley Travelers, that's the model backpack. It's small or medium sized. I want you to realize that I'm not going to be going on a 20-mile hike. I'm not going to be staying out overnight. This is to go on vacation with me, and I have very specific uses for them, which I've outlined throughout my entire video presentation for you. So I want to show you how it works and how things apply to it, and then certain things that I pull out, I'll go a little bit deeper with. For example, I'm going to start by going in the very front pouch. And what this is are disinfectant wipes. And I always have these with me. I've traveled all my life, and I know that the seats and the trays that I'm going to be at are not necessarily as sanitary as I want them to be. The next thing I have in this front pouch, because I need instant access to it, is my paperwork. Now, this piece of paperwork is called a journey document. And what it does is it has all of my information digitized on it, from licenses to passports, you name it. It's right here, so I can look at the table of contents and go to exactly where I need to be. I want those things right in front and have access to it. The next thing I want is there's a little pouch right up here on the top. And in that, I have my healthy snacks. Just so I know where they are if I'm sitting down somewhere, or I'm waiting to get onto a flight, or I'm in a cab and I want something to nosh on, I've got it. Now I'm going to open up some of the compartments, and I want you to see what I have in there. There's several compartments in here, so you really have to know your piece of luggage. The first thing I'm going to pull out, this is my case for my gimbal. My gimbal is what I use with my phone when I'm doing video blogging. In here, this is the case for my Bang Olufsen high-end headphones. This is a leather case, it's beautiful. These are very expensive headphones, but I learned that they're so important, especially to keep the noise out when I'm on an airplane. These have been a lifesaver. They're not everybody's taste. I love them. If you've never heard of Bang Olufsen, look them up. They're called the Bang Olufsen H100. Behind here I have my iPad. My iPad I use because I love to read books. And if I'm on a cruise, I love to be able to go somewhere, read a book, and then put it away. Something really easy. I also use this at night to fall asleep with. Now I'm going to close this area up. And I'm going to go to the back area. Now the back area is where the majority of the items are. So I'm going to start by saying, here's my laptop. Easy access no matter where I'm at. And now I'm going to open this up this way so you can see it. This holds stuff underneath it. So I'm going to open up what it holds, and I'm going to pull them out one at a time. If you don't already have one of these, this is a medical kit. I take it with me. It's really important. When you're on a cruise, sometimes you can't get some of the items that are in here. They just won't get them for you. You have to wait till you get to a port. I always take it with me, and it's come in handy more than once. This little bag came with my Sterling Pacific luggage, which I'm going to talk to you about next. In here, I'm using it for all of my technical stuff. So if you have anything that you need from your power chargers or anything else, they're right here in this bag. Now I'm going to go and talk to you about just this bag and what I take, because this is all about essentials. Right now, I just want you to see how nice it was to have everything that I need when I'm on a plane, when I'm waiting at the airport, when I'm in a cab, when I'm on a train. Everything is right there. I never have to reach up and get my carry-on, bring it down, open it up, and put it back up there. It's right beside me. And that's the key to a great backpack. I'm going to add one more thing. I bought this backpack and I made sure it had this. This is a little arm, and the arm and the sleeve goes on top of the trolley arm on my carry-on. So I don't have to have it on my back. The carry-on does all the work. Make sure you have a sleeve like this on anything that you choose. Again, lifetime guarantee, Briggs and Riley. It was the perfect backpack for me. So during our conversation about the backpack, I pulled this out, and this is my technical bag, where I have all my wires and my chargers and stuff. This is my wife's. This one actually it was a Christmas present. It actually comes from Leatherology. It's beautiful. It's a little expensive, whereas this one came from Sterling Pacific, and it was, how do I say this? It was a gift from Sterling Pacific and I have two, so I have two of these. One I use for my technical bag, and the other one I use for some other things that I bring with me. Anything that makes things more organized when I travel. So I'm going to take my wife's and mine, and I'm going to pull my wife's aside. Now, she has different stuff in hers than I have in mine, and that's important to recognize. Some is the same, some is different, because she has an Apple computer and I have a Windows computer, so it makes a difference. So let me start. In the very front here, I have, and I've shown you this once in my video already, I have a charging block. Now, what I like about this charging block is it has both a Lightning and a USB-C cord already built in, plus you can add additional ones over here. It takes about an hour or two to charge, and it has been a lifesaver, not just for me, for other people that have gone with me. Matter of fact, the friends that went with us on our last cruise, we gave them this as a present, and boy, did they use this more often than you could possibly imagine. A neat thing about this also is my computer, which is again a Windows computer, this can actually charge my Windows computer. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to put this aside. Now this little item right here, this is, and I mentioned this again before, this is for when you're on your aircraft, and this is a Bluetooth module. You see, this goes in to the actual input for sound for the movies that you want to watch on the entertainment system on the aircraft, and it sends a Bluetooth sound to your headphones so that you don't have to have a wire, and you can use your better headphones than what they provide you when you're on the actual aircraft. Not very expensive. I'll put the link down below. Let me put this aside. Now, both my wife and I have one of these. Now, this allows us to have three USB-Cs and 2 USB, and you can have them all coming out of here, so all you really need is the wires, but it's a fast charge. So it's a big difference from the normal small little brick that you have to this one. This is a fast charge, so it saves you a lot of time. My power cord for my computer charger. My computer charger can do a lot of different things, so this is just one of the adapters. This is a neat little thing. I always wondered, why didn't they have a power cord that had more than one USB-Cs? So this one has 2 USB-Cs. It has a charger for your watch, or you can also use this for your phone. And over here you have a Lightning, all within one. Very helpful. Just as a backup, I have one of my old ones. This has 2 of the Lightnings, 1 of the USB-Cs. So just an extra one. And then this is actually a sticker that came off of this device, which is the Bluetooth device. And I keep it in here so that if I ever have to use the barcode to set it up again, I've got it. Simple. Everything I need in a tight little package. The same thing has to do with my wife's. Everything she needs for her equipment in a tight little package. This is the Sterling Pacific Luggage series. I have a set of, first, a 40-liter carry-on, and second, a 90-liter check-in. I'm showing this to you now before I take the covers off because it comes with the covers and it also comes with a little amenities kit. I want you to understand that on the carry-on, which is the smaller size luggage, I rarely if ever use this cover because it's always with me. I'm always protecting it. However, I always use the cover when it has to do with the 90-liter check bag. It's not that it helps it that much, but from an aesthetic standpoint, keeps it from getting too many dings or dents. Now, we just finished discussing the backpack and how important it is, especially when you're traveling in a car or a train, or you're walking in a street, or you're waiting for a plane or you're on the plane. You need to have everything that you need for those times really easy to use, because you don't want to have to pull down from your overhead your carry-on. This is your carry-on. The brand is Sterling Pacific. The model is a 40-liter, 4-wheel spinner carry-on. This is probably one of the most expensive pieces of aluminum luggage, but there's a reason, so I'm going to just go over it very quickly. The actual shell is made of 50-52 aluminum, and it's 0.9 millimeters. The actual corners are also 50-52 aluminum, but it's 1.5 millimeters, because where it's going to take the most amount of abuse is going to be in the corners. Now, the secret to 50-52 aluminum is that it is softer than most other aluminum, so it can take a dent or a ding and it doesn't affect the overall structure. It handles it, versus if it was too rigid, it might crack or it might bend. That's not really what you're looking for. So that brings us to the actual frame. Now, the frame, which holds the actual shell together and makes it so it's easy to open and close, that particular aluminum is called 60-63. It's extruded. And when you extrude aluminum, it means it goes to a very exact piece. It's exactly the same all the way around. It's one piece, and it's very rigid. It needs to be, because it's the frame. It holds it together. And it's 1.5 inches on the bottom and 1.5 inches on the top. And that's very important to realize, because most other frames, you don't see it on the outside. You only see it on the inside. But what Sterling Pacific said was, hey, we want this to last a really long time. We know it's going to take some abuse. So let's make sure that the frame is really overbuilt. And that's exactly what they did. Now, the other parts of aluminum, so this is the third different type of aluminum in this particular case, that's called an A380 aluminum. And it's in a couple of different places. The first place that it's in is down here in the wheel housings, because the wheel housings and the wheels take a lot of abuse. Where else it's located is up here in your trolley arm and your trolley housing. I want you to notice everything is aluminum. And when you're dealing with A380 aluminum, it's really die cast. And it's really, really strong and really, really rigid. Now, I've had problems with carry-ons before, and the problems always come from the wheel housings and from the trolley arms. But when they use A380 aluminum, it makes a big difference. Now, there's a lot more I can show you here, like this is full grain Italian leather handles on the top and on the side. This is an absolute workhorse. Now, what's important for me to share is that when you have a carry-on, it's not going to take the same amount of abuse as it would when you have a check bag. But the check bag and the carry-on uses exactly the same materials, engineering, structure, and design. And the design, which by the way I find gorgeous, and most people when I'm traveling in the airport agree, the design on this is a retro aviation design, and it is without a question stunning. This is overbuilt for a reason. It's overbuilt because it needs to be in order to have a long lifespan. One more thing I want to point out to you. These wheels down here, these wheels, you have 4 spinner wheels. Now, this particular case comes 2 ways. One in a 35-liter where it only has 2 large wheels in the back, and the other, which is this, the 40-liter, that has 4 spinner wheels. I like the 4 spinner wheels better because it's easier when you're maneuvering inside a jet when you're trying to get down the aisle. And the aisle oftentimes doesn't have enough left to right dimensions for most cases. This, you just turn it to the side. It's really simple. So there you have it. You have an overbuilt carry-on. Now, this is essential. I'll open it up and show you the inside so that you can see why I chose it again. But remember, this is probably one of the most expensive carry-ons that you can purchase. but it's also one that will last a lifetime. It will be a legacy to your family. You might be gone, but your carry-on will still be here. Now, the interior to this carry-on is pretty simple. On the very bottom, you have 20 liters, and on the top, you have 20 liters because it's a 40-liter carry-on. On the bottom, you have compression straps, but I also, and I'll talk about this in just a minute, I also use compression bags when it's in here. When you have compression straps with compression bags, everything stays in. Have you ever opened up one of your carry-ons and stuff falls out? Not when you're using compression bags and not when you're using compression straps correctly. Now on the very bottom, this is where the trolley arm is going in, where the trolley housing is. So that's where I usually put my shoes, right in the middle, so I use the best use of space. Now on the very top, what you have is you have a zippered area. That's where you might put loose items. So I use my compression bags on the bottom, the zippered area on the top, and it makes a very tight, very organized process. Because what I want is I want everything where I know it is, and I don't want to have to open this up until I get to a hotel. Simple concept. I want to point a couple of things out. Right over here is 1.5 inches on the bottom, and there's 1.5 inches on the top, and that's the actual frame. We talked about that before. But you'll also see that there's a gasket, a rubber gasket that goes all the way around. So therefore, when it's closed, it keeps dirt, dust, moisture, rain out of it. And that's really important to call out. I want to point one more thing out. Where normal aluminum luggage, what they use is they use aluminum rivets, but not the Sterling Pacific. They don't use aluminum rivets. They use stainless steel rivets. Stainless steel rivets that are exactly 2 inches apart all the way around. It's precise. Stainless steel is super strong. And it's designed to hold all 3 different types of aluminum together, and it never comes loose. So, everything about this is high quality. Everything about this is designed to last for decades. Everything about this is to make this an heirloom piece. And the check bag is designed exactly the same way. Okay, so now we've focused a whole bunch on the carry-on because it's with us most of the time. I just want to clarify some things before I move on to the checked. The first thing is the carry-on is your backup system. So there's 2 approaches to carry-ons. One is that's the only one that you take. You take your carry-on, you take your backpack, you go for a couple of days, you come back. That's ideal. But on the longer trips that I take, that carry-on is even more important because it's a backup. It's in case that your check bag gets lost or stolen. If it's lost or stolen, boy, you don't have anything to wear. So the carry-on should have 1 casual outfit, 1 formal outfit, a pair of shoes, all the things that you need, your valuables, your medicines, your jewelries, all that should be in your carry-on because it's with you most of the time. So it is your backup plan. So if your backpack is your travel central, your carry-on is your backup plan. And if you don't think that you could lose your check bag, think again. That carry-on will help you immensely. One other thing, I go on cruises and my bags never get to my cabin very quickly. So when I have my carry-on, I also have bathing suits and shorts and maybe some flip-flops in there. But I'm also intelligent with the way that I do this. I wear specific clothes on board so that I also have a 3rd outfit. So you get the outfit that you're wearing, a casual, a formal, some shorts, bathing suits, flip-flops, pair of shoes, you're ready to go. Everything that you need to take your cruise, even if you have to wear the same clothes every day, you're ready to go with your carry-on. Now, if you shift over here to your check bag, it's everything else. And I always leave room in my check bag because I'm always going to go shopping. I'm always going to buy something. So I want to have room. That's why instead of getting an 80-liter check bag, I got a 90-liter for the extra room. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail on this bigger bag because it's made exactly the same as the carry-on. It would just be redundant, but it's a lot bigger. And it's, again, over-engineered. Remember now, the abuse is going to happen to your check bag, not to your carry-on. So if both of them are built to the same high level of quality with high level of materials and high engineering, it will last longer and be easier to deal with over time. It will last where other bags will fail. Here's the important part. Both of these two bags, if something goes wrong with them, for the most part, not every time, not a serious damage, but for minor damage, Sterling Pacific can send you the part and you can put it in. It's made to be that way. That way, you don't lose your bag for 3 weeks while you send it back to the manufacturer. I know that because I used to have to do that. So, carry-on, checked has everything else, carry-on's your backup, and add into that your backpack, which is your travel central, and you have a system that really works well. So, what do you think? I'd really like to know. I have to tell you though, I left a couple of things out. One thing I left out that a lot of people bring along are travel pillows. I used to have one. It didn't really work for me, but I'm open-minded to it, so I want to hear from you. What do you like that I had? What do you think are essentials? What would you add? What do you not like? Why don't you like it? Leave me a comment. I promise you, I will personally return it. I will let you know my thoughts if you're interested. And most importantly, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, comment. It really helps us. Remember, I don't get any money for this. I do this out of the joy of it. I love to travel, and I love to be efficient when I'm traveling. And I like to reduce my stress and increase the overall travel experience. So I want to share it with everyone else. I'm Gary Tilkin. Travel well and enjoy every moment.